Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of
The cool down.
Yes,
The Cool
gentlemen. Just in case you didn't know which show you were listening to, it is The Cool Down on this fine Tuesday, and in the house we have Mateus Matinho in a new Spurs jersey, looking mighty fine. We've got Solololo Kale coming as late as Lingard's goal over the weekend. We've got Musa with his fantastic green screen, who always represents from that perspective. And Wonga is also improving his equipment. Good job, gentlemen. So thank you very much for joining me this evening.
How's it going? How's it going? But why do I seem like I'm far, man? Like, come on, put me up, man. Put me front and center, man. Come on.
So you're on the top halfway.
Put us front and center, man. Like, what's going on? Like, I feel like I'm small, like a small screen. Like, Claudio,
lean closer. Lean closer. Be
like
more
this.
of yourself. Get in more.
And to be fair, Wanga doesn't deserve to be anywhere near the top.
It was a bit of an oversight from the admin side. I'm just going to put that out there.
Hey Louis, how's it going, man? Good to see you back on the show. Even though your team lost, but it's good to see you back on the show. Or they drew.
His team didn't lose. No.
They drew. Sorry, but it's a loss.
Also, Musa, what do you normally say when we have someone new? What do you want to say to Sam?
Shout out!
Yeah, shout out. Shout out. Right, gentlemen, now that we've got the pleasantries out of the way, we might as well just jump straight into it. Wonga is eager as ever. Why? Because it's 2 out of 2 for Arsenal and Arteta. There we go. Burnley, they did it. They beat Sir Pub Dash. They did it. 1-0. Wonga,
Can you believe it, Wanga? Can you believe?
Look, we should have trusted the process all along.
It's not. I wouldn't say it's 2 out of 2, Claudia. That's just 2 matches in a row. But I think, look,
Wait, what is 2 consecutive matches?
No, 2 out of 2 is you saying it's 2 out of 2 matches. No, it's
isn't it 2 out of 5 for us?
Yeah, it's 2 out of 5.
Yeah. I'm saying,
I mean, if we go far back enough in history, you know, I mean, where's the cutoff?
We could be at 120 out of 154. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Nah, because we know it's the new league. Yeah. I'm not getting my hopes up and we're covering what's happening here. Reality is we've only won 2 games, and I'm, you know, what I can say positive for me watching the Arsenal game is the defense. You know, of course, in soccer, you're going to get a team attacking you. And I think, again, you went with the same defenders. This time, I think you went to the back 4. That Tumuyaku, or Tumusaku, what's his name? That
Just say the samurai, bro. We call him the samurai, man. If you don't know a guy's name, we just use a stereotype from the country they're from. You know, if
that's essentially a slippery slope, Selo. You know?
I know.
What about taking the knee? Aren't we taking the knee here? I'm just saying.
Samurai, guys. Samurai at least is a term of endearment in Japan.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, guys.
So, but I mean, look.
Okay, let's get away with that. Okay, as you were, Wonga.
Okay, cool. I'll stay away.
Tomiyasu, that's him.
Tomiyasu.
Yes.
So now got the name Tomiyasu. Claudio, you can't say Sean Dyche is a pub, whatever. Please.
No. Wait, Wonga. Wait. No. Talking about pubs, I think Cyril, this is perfect. Talking about pubs. Matt, let's see what you got there. Can you lift it up, sir? Lift it up. Cyril, lift it up. This is a samurai off, seeing us bringing the samurai. Yes. Look at each other. Let's see. Can you? No. You need to pull the face. Look at each other this way. There we go, gentlemen. If you've got a drink this evening, they're having a face-off. This is the Battle Royale: Darling Brew versus Devil's Peak. You say a player's name in the comments there. If you're watching and you're live, we've got Sam, we've got Murray, whoever else is there.
Tomiyasu. Yo, whatever, how you spell it?
Yes,
are we gonna be spelling? I don't know.
Yeah, we can't get any player. First one to put a player's name in the comments. Every time that comment's name or the player's name shows up in the comments, they've got to take a sip. All right, as you were, Wonga, we're talking about Arsenal. It's not that we don't care. We just have other things that are more exciting. Okay, Wonga, let's hear it.
Much more
No.
exciting.
Look,
come on, bro.
again, look, like I said, I was happy Obviously, we got the results, and I think again Arsenal they didn't have most of the shots, but again they took in they how can I say this, they don't know what the right word to use here, but they kept Burnley out. They didn't concede. Ramsdale, I don't know why they're not playing Leno. I'm not saying Ramsdale's playing bad. I'm just trying to understand why Leno's not playing.
Don't you have insiders there at the club?
I'm not. I looked. I can't see. There's no reason. And he played for Germany just now. I think a week or two ago. He was actually starting it for Germany. So I can't understand why Ramsdale is in goals. And look, if you had to choose anyone, if anyone had to choose the two, you'd obviously put Leno in goals, and Leno's saved us on many occasions. So I don't know if there's something happening.
But you paid 25 million pounds for Ramsdale, guys. If you spend money, they're gonna say, "Why'd you guys buy the guy for 25 million? You could have gotten, another keeper. You could have gotten Ronwen Williams to be your understudy for 5 million pounds. But you spend 25 million pounds on a keeper. That means he's got to start, doesn't it mean that?
And
I don't know.
Don't forget, he's 2 for 2 now.
Yeah, it's 2 for 2, 2 clean sheets.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And I think,
repaying
look, and I'm not saying he had a bad game. I also think he did well as well. But again, that's, I think, never mind the players being put there. I can't complain the fact that, look, they got the job done. They played basically the same team that won the other game. The only thing now, you see now, Xhaka, I think he's back after this game. I think he's back. No, he's back after the next game. The question I asked myself.
No, he'll be back. He'll be back in the next Premier League game because the League
they're
Cup,
playing tonight. Yes, they're playing.
The League Cup
this
counts,
week.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. So that's what I need to see now. You've got a team. We're battling. We lost to Brentford. The guys who came up. They are playing well.
Hey, Celo, behave, man. Let the man talk. Let him talk. There.
Oh, he was doing. That's what he was doing in the last show. What must I do?
Yeah, I knew that was coming when he scored. But look, Claudio, I think for me, guys, I'm just happy that we got the win. I just for future now, I just need to see that back four start again. They haven't conceded in 2 games. And they're looking well. Now if you're gonna come there now, and even the midfield as well. I think we look better in the midfield. You see now Xhaka. Now they're gonna come there and you're gonna come in there and Partey's back, yeah. But now you're gonna come in there, you're gonna change things that are working. This is my worry. When your man Xhaka comes back, because he's the same. I think it's even worse than the Ramsdale thing. They love Xhaka.
But do you think he would do that? Because I think if you had to look at a Tuchel, and a Tuchel's a good example. Obviously, he's spoiled for choice, and Musa can obviously elaborate on this. But if the system's working and the player's lost his spot, and this is the same for any football side, if a player gets injured and another one steps up, surely they hold on to the place, and the other one has to work his way back into the team, no?
For me, I agree with that. Especially the situation that Arsenal is in. They don't know what's working. They don't know. They have not had anything working for a while. It's very inconsistent. And now here you're getting a little bit of a little bit of consistency, and you're not conceding. I think that's the most important thing. Your team is not conceding. So I don't think you must come in there now and make drastic changes. One thing maybe that's worrying up front is Aubameyang is not really not firing and not even looking threatening.
Are you creating the chances? That's the question, though, because sometimes also we need to ask a question: are you creating the chances for him? Is he missing? You know what I mean? If he's not getting the chances, then that means you guys are not creating the chances.
That's true as well. I also don't think we're creating a lot as well. We're still relying a lot on these crosses. But like I said, with Lukonga on the field, I feel that there's more of a chance of us penetrating through the middle, because he's getting a pass and he's always looking forward. He gets a ball and he's looking forward. But you put on a Xhaka, the balls are going sideways, left back. He's going to get the most passes in the game. He's going to get 100% accuracy because everything is just going safe.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think they can work on that going forward. But I think now what's important is we're not conceding.
That's the most
and we're getting the goal in. And I think that for me is it's progress. It's progress. Especially it's very early in the season. It's progress, and you must build on it. That's what I think you must do.
And Wonga, Odegaard's performance. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Mosso, did you want to ask something?
Wonga, just move your head. Just move your head a bit so we can see that free kick.
Oh, wrong way.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that.
Lovely stuff there.
Top a left footer scoring a free kick for Wonga. He must have gotten something. Yeah.
Get excited there. Wonga, are you excited? Okay, what did you want to ask, Mosso? What did you want to ask?
No, I just wanted to make a comment. You know, it is true what Wanga is saying. They have managed to get points and some level of consistency, but it is concerning as well that they've only found to get those points with guys who literally are at the bottom, might be fighting the same relegation battle with Arsenal come at the end of the season. So it's interesting to see that you think there's a level of consistency. You think the players that are there should be playing. But with those players, do you think there's really like a lot of progress to come from Arsenal? Do you think they'll be fighting for top 6 or even top 8 position with the current squad and the way the squad is looking at this point in time?
Look, I think we can. I think you're right. We played. It's early in the season, and the competition, the good competition you had hammered us. Chelsea cleaned us. Manchester City cleaned us. We're gonna have Tottenham this weekend, but they got cleaned by Chelsea.
Ladies and gentlemen, get that bleach out there because Wonga might be potentially colouring his hair.
He might be dying blood.
Yeah, your blood might come sooner than mine, Wanga.
It's the bleach derby.
To be fair, I think it's a good time for Arsenal to be facing Spurs. To be honest, like I don't know where you're sitting from a probability perspective, Wonga. How sure are you that you're going to bleach your hair at the end of the weekend? Out of curiosity.
Now, look, I mean, before when it started, I think I was like, it's a done deal. But I think now, looking at the way you're performing, look, I think the most worrying thing for me is that we could, and I told you guys that I could see any team scoring 2 goals against us. You know, literally, I could see any team scoring 2 goals against us, and it literally happened. Brentford scored 2, Chelsea scored 2, Man City could have scored
25.
10 if they wanted to. Yeah. But now, they've actually, it's literally, they've made. That's why I say this, Musa, is because we've literally made changes have been made, and partly some of the players have been complaining about are also out, you know. And here we finally getting a bit of and we're not even putting our best keeper in goals, you know. And that's why I say.
But just wait. But
isn't that a debatable matter? Like,
yes, that is a debatable matter.
This goalkeeper thing is a bit debatable because he's gotten 2 clean sheets. What has he indicated that he's not the right man to be in goal?
Yeah, especially they signed the guy for a reason. We know Leno wanted to leave, and now they've got him there. So the manager's going to play the man that wants to come in there. It's his signing. It has to work.
Shout out to Sam.
Guys,
What's the top 6 for Arsenal? Even an Arsenal fan will not think like that. This year.
That's tough.
Guys, tough being an Arsenal fan. Yo. Damn.
No, it is tough, but look, it's like in terms of the Leno situation, I don't care what anyone tells me. For me, Leno's the better keeper. He's definitely made very good. Yes, he's made mistakes. Every keeper's made mistakes, but I think I can only remember 2 of them that he made in the spell that he's been at Arsenal. And our defense, my man. If Leno was playing those other games, there's no way he's conceding. He's not conceding any goal there. And I mean, you can't. I know you can't say it because he wasn't there, but I'll just say out of my
but wait.
Put it the other way. If Ramsdale had been in those first 3 games, do you think he might have saved any of those? Did any of those look like he could have had them where Leno had them in?
Lukaku's header, and against Man City. Oh my goodness me, guys! Leno, I think for me. Leno is hard done by that defense.
No, I don't know if it's so much the defense. Leno sells you false dreams because he concedes the easy ones and he saves the spectacular one, and then you go, "Oh yes, he's not a bad keeper." But then the easy one goes through his leg. You know what I'm saying? It's like, Leno. You know
his legs. Cloud, did you see the goals that were scored?
Wonga,
guys.
let's also just take a step back here because we're looking at the weekend's fixtures. There's nothing. This isn't Arsenal fan TV today because they got the result.
You guys are fan. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, let's talk about. Okay, yeah, no.
No.
Wait.
It's a long time to talk about a dodgy 1-0 win against Burnley is all I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
No. So just to round off, Wonga. So the players, tell us which players you were happy with. You like the fact, obviously, you got the win against a tricky Burnley side. So the players that you liked the most, and what players? To sum it up,
definitely the Tomiyasu is impressive. Definitely what we're missing in our team. I was pretty much impressed with everyone on the pitch. I don't think there's anyone there that I'll say I was thoroughly disappointed with. I would like Aubameyang to get more goals. We need to score more.
Arsenal need to get more goals, not just Aubameyang. One. You know, you guys still need to catch up your goal difference. 5 goals from City, and how many did Chelsea put past you? So you still need to catch up all those goals. And
it's 9.
Brentford, you know what I mean? So you're 9-2. You know what I mean? You know, as Matt always says, you know, you're not winning if you don't catch up your goal difference.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Saka was disappointing for me. It was a bad game for him. It happens. But yeah, that's the reality of it. I think Saka had a bad game that day. He wasn't.
And you know what? Maybe it's because he knows he's being linked with moves to Juventus and Atletico Madrid. I read that in the papers today. Yeah. So he's Saka screwed. I'm on the way out. Anyway, gentlemen. Yes, man. 3-0 to Liverpool. That's the game we're going to be talking about.
Wow.
At least for a short period. Well, why are you saying wow? It was a good result.
We're going to give you 10 minutes there.
Thank you. Time it. Are you ready? On the clock. Yeah. Max, you have the timer there. Check. And I'm ready going. Okay, Liverpool were great. They had a fantastic game. They were tight at the back. But seriously, they were good at the back. I think also one thing to point out, Crystal Palace. I was quite loud on the show saying I didn't think Patrick Vieira would do the things there. And Crystal Palace aren't actually a bad side. They're looking good.
They played well.
They played very well, and the score was quite deceiving because it was never a 3-0 victory. But in the end, Liverpool took their chances, and that was the difference. They were in the game for large portions of it, Crystal Palace, so credit to them. Also think Gallagher, if you don't have him in your fantasy team, look out for that player.
Did I get him in? No, not yet. I put in Gray, Damari Gray. That's the one as well, who's cheap.
Yeah, because he just makes brilliant second ball runs. He waits for the ball to go wide, and then he makes the run in behind the defense, and he's going to get you. And he's on set pieces and corners, etc. So he's going to get you some points if you're a Crystal Palace fan. But from a Liverpool perspective, we just got to look at Jota. The setup was the same more or less. They went with Thiago, they went for Fabinho, they went with Hendo. Thiago came out, Keita came in, and I'm just so pleased that the Naby lad scored the goal that he scored. I don't know if anyone saw the reaction to his goal.
He did a
Cantona-esque. Yes, it was one of those. It was shame, and he's such a little guy, so it was quite impactful. In my personal opinion, also was a great goal. And I think one highlight that we need to point out from Liverpool's perspective, we know them as a counter-attacking side, catching teams on the break. But their goals came from set pieces, came from corners particularly, and that's where one of their strengths are shining through in these tough games. The teams are going to sit deep and be compact. Liverpool are finding ways to break them down in set pieces, and that's always crucial for any title race. So super chuffed from that perspective. Salah was there. Mane scored his 100th goal. So another. I think
what Sam is saying. Hey, Jota has set a new standard for missing. Hey, that was a bad miss. Hey.
No, but remember, Jota's there to replace Firmino, so he's actually just doing the job.
True. He's just replicating what Firmino used to do.
Doesn't Jota have more goals than Kane this season? Just putting that out there, despite that miss.
No.
How many guys here would put Jota in their team before Kane? Just quick show of hands.
Hey, listen, Jota's not gonna sulk, and then when he doesn't get his move, be like, "Hey, I'm happy to play for my club." That's what I'm saying.
Salah does for your system. Remember?
Salah doesn't do that. He hasn't done that. Where has Salah done that? Salah has not done that. But anyway,
Jota was complaining about Salah and Mane not connecting because Salah was having a tiff.
And now Salah's overpassing to Mane.
But now you're saying Salah never does that. He just did that.
But he's never come out on Twitter saying, "Hey guys, it's time for me to move on." Oh, you know what?
Because he's in the family club.
I realized Daniel Levy doesn't want to let me go, so I love being here. I love being out. No, so there was none of that. There's none of that.
Why are you using that voice? He does what I can't understand what he's saying.
He speaks with the lisp. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, my name's Harry. I'm staying here. Yeah. Sorry, that's far better. My bad. I was punching above my weight there.
That's better. That's better.
Okay. All right, but gentlemen, but about that miss, did you guys actually see that miss? Because I want to understand what you think happened there. Well, what do you think happened in that scenario?
I'm looking at it right now. I think he just didn't know what the hell he was doing. What the heck?
What? No, bro.
That's exactly what happened.
He opened his body and they just went.
But also trust you, dickheads, to come on. Liverpool win 3-0, and that's what you guys focus on.
It's not us, guys. It's Sam. It's Sam.
You.
We're just giving the audience what they want, Claudio. We don't set the tone of the community.
Sam brought it up. I was going to keep.
What happened there, Claudio?
Let me tell you what I think happened, and then you can critique if you think this is an accurate reflection. And this is not me defending the player, because the miss is the miss.
I'm watching it right now. Remember, I'm watching
the miss is the miss. But what I think happens, the ball pops up. Obviously, he sees open goal. He's anticipating the keeper to come at him. So he's snatching at it, and it's a lot higher. So instead of actually using a side foot, he actually comes in, uses the laces to get to the ball quicker, and then he lands up smashing at it because, I think he's anticipating the keeper.
The keeper's on the floor, but
he's
on the floor.
Yeah, but he's anticipating the keeper, and the keeper doesn't come, which is why he snatches like that, because you can see he doesn't really follow through. He kind of he does a little punch to it.
Hey, Claudio loves his players. You missed that, bro.
I'm saying he missed it. I'm saying he missed it, bro.
He's trying to explain how he missed it. Hey, guys, you don't see Musa here saying, hey, man, Timo Werner missed because of 1, 2, 3. He just says, hey, man, Timo Werner is a cow and he missed.
Yes.
It's fine. You can say it slowly.
So based on that statement, are you happy? Is everyone on this panel happy to put Jota in the cow bracket as Timo Werner, even though he's already outperformed Timo Werner?
No.
Claudio, what do you think of Konate's performance? His debut. He obviously had a couple of nervy moments, but I like that tackle that he made on Benteke when Benteke was through on goal. Composure, ran with him, didn't dive in. Just went with him, which was quite nice.
No, don't disrespect him like that, Wongo, as well. Come on. Because I think that's a better point. He's at home. Konate's at home. He's a 22-year-old boy. He's making his debut at Anfield. And I think you can already see the difference in class between him and the player that they signed on loan last season come back. There's a reason that player didn't come back to us. What I did like is he did find himself in tricky positions. Yep, he did find himself in tricky positions, but he's athletic enough to make up for it. And as time goes by, he'll obviously find familiarity next to a player like Van Dijk. I think Van Dijk also struggled playing with him a little bit, personally speaking. It was I think Van Dijk's worst game so far since he's come back. So that also speaks to a new partnership. But super, super impressed. His physique's there, his pace is there. And he'll get better.
I just bumped my phone over when I was getting my drink.
They were like, what's going on? Is there
Matt thinks he's on mute, but he isn't.
Oh shit, sorry guys.
No worries, man. No worries.
So Matt cares so much about Darling Brew. He's just kicking it on the side there. That's what's going on here.
The weight household.
No, he kept that up. He kept that safe. It's a phone that took the meeting.
Also, I like this comment. Jason's comment. We have no money, but we're going to win the league. La 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 la. Which is quite interesting. That's a loud Liverpool fan. Which I'm backing. I'm backing here. I think out of.
Oh man.
Okay. Let's hear what Sam has to say. Wish Jota would have seen the stream. Claudia would have personally invited him for a team session. You damn right I would have. Thank you, Sam. Right, but just to wrap up the Liverpool performance, I think at the end it was a performance of quote-unquote champions-esque in terms of they weren't put to the sword, they weren't really tested, but it was a professional finish. So there's not much to elaborate on from that perspective, apart from Konate's debut, Keita coming on. So also showing that the players in the current system, even though we haven't added new additions apart from Konate, have been able to pick up the pieces.
Can I say, I think it seems you were wrong on Tsimikas. He actually looks the real deal. I love his crosses. His crosses are actually good because you said that you were obviously you were saying, hey, poor Tsimikas, he comes in and he plays and he's just not looking good and he's not up to the standard. I'm not sure who's this kind of player that we signed, but now second season, I think he's had a preseason with the club. It has helped, and he put some good crosses into the box, You guys are not losing anything with these crosses when
Yeah.
he comes on for Robertson. You know what I mean? I think obviously, yes, maybe the defensive side is not as good as Robertson, but his crossing is probably like your top 5 in the team.
Yep. So just to retouch on the fact, remember I said going forward he's at least a 7. Right? Defensively he's far less.
Yeah.
But he has been fortunate in the sense that Robertson has been out. So he's started the season and he hasn't started poorly from an attacking sense. And luckily, Liverpool's a side that tend to find themselves on the front foot. So it benefits a player like this. And his set pieces have been fantastic. So credit to him. And also now it shows Robertson that he needs to perform because he came back and he was a bit sluggish, which is fair enough because the player was out. Yeah. Also think I like what Sam says here, Milner at the back. And this is also something I probably should have opened with. Milner coming in, capped another leader back in the field, replacing Trent. You think Liverpool rely on the width of the fullbacks. This is going to be a big loss. And on the day, it wasn't because of the professionalism of the man that you can always count on, and he does his job. Kept kicking the shit out of Zaha. Every time Zaha was gone, professional foul. And he did that. He disrupted them and completely. He made them struggle. So credit to that. Also nice shot there, Sam, apart from giving Jota shit. And that's pretty much the Liverpool side. I don't know if anyone else wants to say anything from Liverpool's perspective.
I just wanted to ask. I mean, this Liverpool fans I talk to, they still think they've got a shot of winning the league.
All of them do. Don't worry.
But I ask myself again, guys. Again, Salah, Mane, again in the goals, and again January they come. January comes, they're gone. What's
and
Keita, yeah. And he's got a cracker. What's going to happen now? That's the only question I ask Liverpool fans. Your goals are going to be cut. Surely they're going to be cut by some margin. I don't. They're
going to rely on the ox.
Who's
Are
going to?
They not going to dip in the market in January? I think.
I'm asking. What's the plan?
They didn't spend big now. Surely they're going to see where the major gaps are going to be. Look, I think jokes aside, Liverpool have been quite smart. The signings they have brought in. It's only Konate now, but there's a couple of players who kind of had some time to bed down, and they do seem to be clicking. And I think, we know Klopp and the hierarchy at Liverpool, they're not mugs. They do think quite strategically. I think they've probably got a plan around what they're going to do in January. The risk there is if you don't get it right, you bring someone in last minute and potentially if they don't hit the ground running, you are at risk. But if they plan it correctly and they've probably already started thinking about who's the right person to go for. I would imagine they'll look for someone with some Premier League experience who can kind of step up and kind of fill some of the gaps. And I think that'll be big for them. I think that's, it's very early days to say Liverpool are in with a chance, whatever. But I think January will be a big month for them. I think if they don't get it right in January, they will kind of scupper their own chances of going for the league.
Yeah, and
I agree with Matt.
Yeah, I think, Matt, you summed it up really well. And to be fair, you're talking about January, but December normally is a testing period for all teams. So whether or not January comes in, if they're still in the thick of things by the end of December, that's a whole different discussion. And then we see how far or how much they're going to dip into the market. So that's also a valid point. But it is time now to move on to a game that was very non-exciting. But because Louis is a Man City fan and because they're meant to be tight challenges, and I think everyone in this panel, except for one man, Mossa, on the top right there, said that Man City are going to win the league. So what are we making of this performance, gentlemen, against a Southampton that on paper technically should be struggling? They get a result, 4 draws in a row, and they go to Man City and they get a draw.
I would like to say, okay, go Matt. Go ahead.
No, you go first.
No, Wonga. Matt's finger was up. You did not see that, then it's on you. Matt, go ahead.
How's that?
That wasn't like a please sir pick me. That was more just like me pondering, But yeah, I just remember City started last season very slowly. They've got form for this. They kind of take a while to get up to speed, and then they're like one of those old-fashioned trains. It takes ages to get moving. You can basically walk next to it for the first mile, but once it gets up ahead of steam, it's going to knock down walls. And I think we mustn't be fooled. Remember last season that we were very quick to be like, oh, they're out of the race. They've messed it up. They're not going to get it. And obviously they came back and won it. I think this is a similar situation. They when they played Spurs, they didn't look like champions. Over the weekend, they looked just a bit stagnant. They just looked a bit off of it. They normally, when Man City are at the top of their game, they impose themselves on a team like Southampton. It doesn't matter if Southampton arrive there to play for a draw or whatever. It doesn't matter. So City are going to do what City do. So I think it's just one of those cases again where they're going to slowly build up. They're still finding, they've got a couple of new additions to the squad, and that are probably just finding their feet. I don't think we can read too much into this early form of City's.
Yeah, I agree. That's exactly what I was going to say with Matt. It's they
you should
started
put a
slow
finger up.
last. They started slow last season, and yeah, I think probably this week was just a bad performance. But it's interesting to see that they're still going by this thing of not having an out-and-out striker. You thought maybe they would have bought someone if they. I mean, they were
Sorry, Wonga. Just read this comment, Marcus. You know what? This is the most ludicrous thing I think you've ever said. And you normally add to the show, but this is outrageous. Marcus says it can't be good for any manager to have that much quality in your team.
Yeah, I reckon Arteta's sitting there looking at Pep like, man, I'm so glad I'm not you.
You've got big problems, Pep. You've got big problems.
Shout out to Justin, gentlemen. This is a new viewer here, Justin Haranis. I don't know. How do you pronounce this, guys? Help me out there.
That sounds right. That sounds right.
I tried.
Goeiedag, Justin. Goeiedag.
Thank you for joining us. Dis baie goed om jou te ontmoet. Okay, as you were.
Quick one about what Marcus is saying. I think, it is a real concern, right? Like if you've got a big bench and you're seeing your bench primarily is made up of 8 midfielders that are all top class, and you've got 6 defenders that are top class, and they kind of play similar roles and positions, makes it a little bit challenging. That's why he's gone for that false 9 type of role where you can have players interchanging between those 2 areas without him losing any of the quality or having a core focus of players that he relies on heavily, which could be the problem at Man City.
No, but
I just had a tough time.
I can really qualify Marcus's statement saying that a person like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's got too much quality, and that's a headache for him. Pep is an established manager who's coached Bayern Munich and Barcelona with a lot of options, and he's managed. You know what I mean? So
what an example! What a good example.
Yeah, so hey, Musa love that example, obviously.
I think there's some validity to all of this in terms of you have a player like Silva, who we know that the talks of Kane possibly coming in, the new boy Grealish coming in, and Silva looking to leave the club, and 1 or 2 other players like Zizou, was he going to stay? Was he going to go? So there was that Zizou, Jesus.
Oh, okay. I forget. Guys, we have a
Spanish. Jesus.
So he'll say it. You'll say it the Portuguese. I was like, what's going on here?
I'll know Spanish. Everyone knows the Spanish.
They decide a new player or what? I'm like, who's this guy?
That's how Jesus says it as well.
Anyway, but just in terms of that, so this is an interesting time because we do know this is the longest Pep has ever stayed at his side, which is another new challenge for him personally. So you're talking about his past pedigree, but this is a new challenge for the guy. So not having that striker, I know they did really well last season not having the striker, but how much does that play a psychological impact going? We know it was quite publicized that we were going to get Kane, and that didn't happen. So what does that mean for the other players? Do you think it's a second chance, I can try and prove something to the manager? Or they know, like you said, Pep knows how to draw the line in the sand. So you're not going to be part of my plan, or you are going to be part of the plan. So where does that leave the players? So that's going to be interesting.
But I think also we need to just maybe revisit that idea that it was quite publicized they were going to get Kane. Kane's agent / brother was pumping a lot of stuff into the media. And probably
the guy's got only 1 client.
Yes,
his brother.
And
yes,
but
that's called a niche market. It's niche.
I think City only ever made 2 proper bids, and they were well short of the asking price. So I bet within the City camp, when they were in their preseason and getting together the squad, Pep was probably quite open with the guys in terms of it's still not happening. There's no guarantee of getting Kane. I don't think they would have all been sitting there thinking any day Kane's going to get here, and then when he did the announcement, it was a shock to them. I think the squad would have known for some time that this was not a done deal. They've got far more access to information, and Pep's going to be having daily chats with them. So I don't think the absence of Kane will shake the squad. I think they're professionals. Yeah. They did last season largely without a striker. I think the challenge they've got at the moment is probably more. I think it is part of the factor could be that they've got too many players and they're not quite finding their best system and stuff. But I think once they hit that, they hit their stride. And I think also as the games speed up, that's a squad that's built to really succeed as Champions League gets into the thick of it and December comes, thick and fast games. They can switch out. Like you said, they could pull off their entire midfield and throw in another one that would start at any team in the country. So I reckon they'll get there. I still don't think I don't think Pep's earned the right for us not to assume that he can't handle it. And I think the squad itself is strong enough and full of enough quality for us to know that they're going to do the business when it happens, when it matters.
Yeah.
To whip some balls into the box when picking the lock doesn't work. Yeah, but that's
Selo, hang on. You've hosted the show before. You do know this show does become a podcast format as well. If you're going to read a comment, call the name out and read it properly. Don't just have a little one-on-one conversation with yourself.
Sorry about that. Flip off, man. What Uncle Drew is saying is that sometimes you need to whip some balls into the box when picking the lock doesn't work. But City don't have a target man, which is fair, yeah. So they can cross the ball, and it's just or Ferran Torres is going to try and hit the ball in the box, and they can't. Obviously, they're not lethal in the air, I even saw Barcelona crossing the ball like 58 times last night. Because they obviously were out of ideas, out of passing the ball and stuff, and they crossed the ball. And Piqué was playing as a secondary striker, and they got their goal eventually. So I agree with Uncle Drew there. Welcome to Boston Side and Uncle Drew. Thanks for joining the show. Apparently, I must speak up as a person on the show. Yeah,
good going, Settle. That's far better. But also, Matt, do you want to reveal your age the last time Tottenham won a trophy?
So last time Tottenham won a trophy, I was older than Bustin is now, significantly. But
at least you got to see some good times.
Let's be honest. I mean, Nick's not on the show now, but the last time his team won a trophy, my dad wasn't born. So sometimes you're going to wait. Sometimes your team's going to make you wait. I think Spurs fans, we're here for a long time, not for a good time. It is what it is.
Shout out. Okay, gentlemen, just to round up the Man City Southampton chat, any final thoughts you want to contribute here?
Have we learned how to say Hassan Hüttel's name yet?
I think that was a good chat. Hassan Hüttel.
You have to say it fast.
We have not.
You have to say it. Okay. Well, it's Ralph Hassan Hüttel.
I just go with Ralph. If I meet him, I'm going to say Ralph. Just like if you ever meet Jesus.
Also, I like the fact
if I had to be Jesus, I'll be like, hey man, hi, hey Gabriel, how are you?
Look, I like the fact that you mentioned him there because I mean, let's look at it. They get 4 draws on the trot, and a draw against Man City
and United.
Yeah, United, but it's 2 clean sheets back to back. And there were moments when Chelsea was still looking for a new manager before they got in Tuchel. There was talk about him being a possible candidate. So, despite the fact that they lose their players every season, should we not be looking at Ralph going, he's actually doing all right with the squad, even though they are only 15th on the log at the moment?
Yeah, no, I think he's done very well, man. I think we need to give him credit where it's due. He lost Danny Ings, he lost Vestergaard to Leicester City. Bertrand also went to Leicester City.
He sold them.
Okay. He lost Bertrand.
Why you picturing him with the magnifying glass?
He was like,
misplaced them. Someone get my iPhone so I can find it.
Bertrand went
iPhone tracker.
But find my Danny Ings.
To be fair, that transfer came out of nowhere. Anyway, sorry, Zilla. Yeah.
So carry on, Zilla.
I did go missing. Sorry,
it's a very serious show we're having here, guys.
No, but I completely understand what you're saying. It's for him to obviously make good with what he has. It's very good and it's pleasing to see. He's obviously brought in some new signings, Livramento and Armstrong as well. So yeah, they did well, and I think they should have gotten a penalty. I don't know if we're going to talk about that. We don't have do we have a ref watch section? Who's the referee here? We can maybe analyze that a bit. I think Walker should have gotten given away a penalty there. It was overturned by VAR. VAR actually had a howler this weekend, guys. A howler of note, guys. There were so many penalties not given, penalties overturned in the Arsenal game, and in Manchester United's game. West Ham should have gotten a penalty when Wan-Bissaka tripped Souček. Manchester United should have also gotten a penalty where Zuma tripped, where Zuma tackled Ronaldo in the box as well. So and then the other one, the Soufal one. So I think ref said sure, poor performance on VAR. Hey,
Guys,
but-
sorry.
I don't understand,
is
man. Like, why don't the
disillusional.
refs just go look at the thing? Just like for every call that could be a penalty, they just go look at the monitor and have a look. Like
What's Bastard
Cristiano's
saying?
examples.
No, but they don't even have to look, bro. They can. The guys are in there to look. That's what I don't understand.
No, but that's
Yeah,
the
but
thing
those
is that
guys are clearly-
do you know
Yeah, guys. So it's obviously there's a generational gap between me and Bustin. I can't tell if that was a joke or not, or if he's actually asking.
Nah, I think it's a joke, guys. I think it has to be a joke, guys.
And the
has
joke
to be
being
good.
Bustin saying Arsenal dark horses for the league, and then Sam saying Bustin which league.
Yeah, but what Protocol is saying exactly, man. The ref missed 3 penalties, 2 to United and 1 to
Yes.
West Ham. It's a dismal performance, and Martin
Yeah.
Atkinson should be taken off the Premier League games for this weekend, given a break, or maybe even go ref in the Championship. But I don't know, man. I think this whole thing about VAR and us allowing the game to flow a bit more and allowing some physicality in it, these refs have taken it a bit too far, allowing physicality. Because in a game like Southampton and Man City, where Walker makes a challenge and they give a penalty, then it gets overturned. Why is it getting overturned? Let the ref's decision be the right the decision that he made. Then in Man United's one, they don't tell the ref to go look at it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
I
the
don't
funny thing.
understand. It's I can't
Like
understand what's going on.
Like Ronaldo's, like I don't understand Ronaldo's first one. Even if you're looking at it on VAR,
Running across the knee.
he literally the knees make contact. That's
Yeah.
the reason he falls. Anyone who's seeing it can see that that's a penalty. But what I can't understand is the guys there. The only people that don't see that as a penalty are the guys in the
Guys,
VAR room.
Guys,
So
look at
how
what
does that make sense?
guys, look at what Buster is saying. He's saying, how can there be a Spurs in this convo when they've never won the league?
Boston is a wise man.
Well, I mean,
Ask Bastard.
I think no, but you see, that's also Bustin showing his youth. The football wasn't invented when the Premier League started. Spurs have won the league when it was called something else. He mentions Blackburn, which also happened before he was born. But there we go. So,
That's one. Well done, Matt. Well done, Matt.
Yeah.
Bustin, I hope you're taking
Well done.
notes.
Well
there.
done.
Yes,
Well done.
yeah.
this isn't the
Well
first
done,
time someone's mocked me for supporting Spurs.
You've got experience.
Boston, it's because we're very kind people. We had to let Matt join us, man. It's not about
But I
the
need somewhere
cabinet.
to be. It keeps me out of trouble.
Yeah.
But guys, can you guys please give a round of applause to David De Gea? Penalty
Sure.
save for the first time.
Sure.
40
Last
penalties
minute.
he's faced. 40 penalties he's faced that he's not saved. I think the last one he saved was like Leighton Baines or something like that at Old Trafford. And yeah, he comes out tops.
Okay,
but that decision.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand a manager that puts on the
A
player
player.
to come in and literally his first kick of the game is to take a penalty.
Also stupid.
It's a lot of
Yeah,
Being a
it
player,
doesn't
you
feel
can see
right.
that it doesn't work. Like being a player, you would know.
Can't work.
You would know that when you come on a field, like you need touches. You need to sort of warm up. Yeah, some guys they fire off quick, but
yeah.
you need to sort of warm up, have a touch. It's not just about getting the blood flowing. It's also about just getting the confidence. I believe people
Getting a
everyone
feel
needs
for the
that.
ball.
Yeah.
Torres, I
Yeah.
remember Torres used to say that if he didn't score in his warm up, he psychologically he wouldn't be okay. He just said psychologically he wouldn't be okay. That's what.
So is that what happened? Is that what happened to him at Chelsea?
Yes,
Yeah,
the
maybe he
warm-ups
didn't ever
weren't good.
score in the
Yeah, I didn't score the warm-ups.
Peter Cech didn't let him
But-
score in the warm-ups. That's
Peter
probably what happened. But
yeah,
on that note, though, I do want
Yeah.
to say him coming on, taking that penalty. Even if a player is doing the tango or the best professional dancer doing the tango, like the hip doesn't swerve as much, even like without getting warmed up. No, but I'm saying like
That's
cold,
you're
yeah,
talking
when it's
about
cold.
you're talking about Dave saves here right now. But if you saw that run up, we could all see which direction the cycle was going. You could see he was stiff. He was stiff. He wasn't loose. So to that point, like
He wasn't
no,
what?
he wasn't loose, boy. He wasn't. Like normally,
See,
if
that's
you're
it.
gonna go one way, you either disguise the ball or not. But from the minute he was running up to a high pass, that you could literally see it was like a back pass to his left back or centre back or whatever the deal was. So no surprises.
Yeah, exactly.
But credit to
It was a penalty I could have had a good chance saving, and that was the problem in my view. If you've got other players who if you look at the game and review the performance from West Ham versus Man United, West Ham had some really serious periods of play where they were looking like the much better team on the day, where it looked as if Man United could drop some points in this game, and it was overshadowed with the fact that penalty was taken in the manner it was, and the manager doing their thing. I don't know what they were smoking, but yeah, it was crazy to
Wonga,
have a decision like that made at the last minute.
What does it say, Wonga? It says J Lings. J Lings. That's what it
What
says.
a goal.
J Lings.
What a goal.
The game was quite meta because you had Jay Lings coming on scoring against these old, like technically loney side, and he gave zero shits about it too. It was like I was sleeping over at your house for the weekend. I didn't really want to be there. My parents made me go there so I can grow up, and that's why I was there. And you know what, stuff you. Here's your food. Take it back. That's what that was. And then you look at the David Moyes sort of scenario, and you look at David Moyes and you're going, him putting on Noble to take this penalty could be one of two things. First thing being, you love my conspiracies. You know I love them, Matt. First thing being, be like, I'm going to help Man United. Second one being, fuck, I want Noble out of this club. No. How do I get him out? Let's put this hero on the spot. Make him just one thing he does.
It's his last season. It's his last season, guys. What do you mean?
He's trying to. He's really saying, "Good sake." That's what he's saying.
The answer staring us in the face. Sam says 2 people triple captain Mark Noble. One of those people is clearly David Moyes.
David Moyes.
And he was like, look, get on there.
I need it for my points.
But Mark walked on and he was like, hold on, I've triple captain David De Gea. I can't score this. I'm going to give him a six.
That's true. I'm triple captain David De Gea.
FPL is ruining the game more than
it is, guys.
Investigations.
Yeah, and the players do play fantasy, in case you weren't sure about that. I know this is quite a conspiracy, but they do play.
You remember last season with Aston Villa, right? All the Aston Villa backroom staff and some players took out Grealish out of their team, and that sent some alarm bells to some other guys who also did the same, took out Grealish, and then obviously that helped them out. But I'm just happy that we got the 3 points. Solskjaer, he made the right substitutions in this game. I can't fault him for his subs. He had the right subs, so so well done to him. And let's move on to the next game.
Weren't you a little bit frustrated with the squad that you guys had on the day? McTominay and McFred? Bothering you?
We've said enough about McFred, but I think McTominay himself, McTominay wasn't fit. He wasn't fit to be back in the starting lineup. I think he should have started tomorrow's game in the Carabao Cup to get some minutes to be ready for the next weekend. Because he wasn't there. You know what I mean? And then you get Fred. Matic comes on. He makes a pass to Lingard, goes past 3 players. You know what I mean? I think Matic, I wish he had the legs of Fred because his football IQ is probably one of the best in the team in that position. But what can we do?
How's Buster saying? Ole Gunnar Southgate, boy.
That's true. They don't make subs. They don't make subs, guys. They don't make subs.
Guys, I think that's a bit harsh on Southgate, to be fair.
Yeah, it is. Honestly,
before we go ahead, Mosa.
I felt like if Ole hadn't gotten a result this past weekend, he was going to get a call from somebody up there to tell him, like, we've had enough, dude. We've got Cristiano complaining about this. We've got the fans complaining about how he's coming to the game, how he's he doesn't come to a game with any kind of intent or attacking prowess or attacking focus. Yet he's got players like Cristiano there. I feel like he was very close to getting his tickets.
Remember last week what I said, Telo? I said, we know this. When Ole loses the next game, it's always pressure. They always talk about the next game.
He knows how to deal with pressure, man. He knows how to deal with pressure, man. I think United, all in all, the attackers played well. That's one thing. We did create some chances. I think the game against Young Boys, we were complaining that we didn't have many shots at goal. This game, at least, we had double-digit shots at goal. So at least There were chances. Ronaldo should have scored a goal against Fabianski, where he made a good save. But at the end of the day, we still got the win. We're still there with the top two. Just behind on goal difference. Let's see what he does. We have to give him a chance because he's winning or whatever. But obviously, we are frustrated and we don't see an identity. There's no. I can't say that. I can put in Claudio at centre mid for Manchester United, and this is how he has to play. It's just vibes. It's just individual brilliance, and the individual brilliance of Lingard saved us, and De Gea's individual brilliance saved us on the weekend.
Yeah. So before we talk about the final game, on that note, and I want to get everyone's opinion here. When we're looking at Man United doing this now, normally this is a mark of champions winning the game right at the end, even though they didn't really deserve it, technically speaking. So like that kind of momentum carries through. Would you be happy to say that Manchester have what it takes to go towards the end or push towards the end of the season for the title, seeing what you've seen in 5 games? I know it's early, but I'm just asking.
Only the quality players will be the ones that take us there. The coach, let's see if the coach can be the one that can take us over the line. But obviously, in the past, he's proven to not be the person to take you to silverware. So I think the players can take you a certain place, and the manager needs to obviously take you to the silverware. So it's a big question mark over the manager to take us to the silverware.
Marcus Curry says Man United have big players and big DNA personnel. So you guys have Ole for DNA, champ. Keeping him there for the DNA.
Right, on that DNA, we've got Spurs versus Chelsea. Spurs hosting Chelsea and getting, I don't know, would we say a lesson? Is that what we call 3-0 nowadays in a big game? I don't know.
No, it's a game. Let's say a game of 2 halves, guys.
A game of
Definitely.
2 halves.
Yeah. A game of 2 halves where Spurs, if they took their chances in the first half or took advantage of their dominance, then I think it would have been a different game, a ball game. But Chelsea were the better side in the second half, and they took their chances, which is the difference between the two teams, I think.
But to be fair,
quality in this game, I think.
Yeah. To be fair, I think, it was a game of 2 halves in a sense where Tottenham were looking very good in the first half and not as good in the second half. But I don't think we could take anything away from Chelsea. I think Chelsea looked good in the first half and then stepped it up a notch in the second half, whereas Tottenham didn't have the gears that could allow them to keep up. I think we in the first half there were good opportunities for both teams, and that's why I think the subbing of Mount helped Chelsea then solidify the midfield and gain more authority in that midfield.
What's your best front three, Musa?
At Chelsea.
Yeah. Lukaku, and Lukaku.
I think we're still figuring that out. If you had asked me pre-season, I would have included Ziyech in that mix to just say.
Busy reading that there in case you wonder what that pause is.
Yeah, it's a long one for the coach. Yes.
But yeah, Musa, what's Chelsea's best front three, please? Because I've seen a lot of Chelsea fans debate this. They don't know what their best front three is because they said that they didn't like the front three of Mount and Havertz with Lukaku. So what's your best front three?
So yeah, it goes back to like what had happened pre-season. If you had asked me, and if you had asked me, I saw players like Ziyech coming to the fore and looking really, really good until he got an injury, I think in the Community Shield or the game after the Community Shield. So I would have included Ziyech and then had Lukaku and then had Havertz. That has changed a little bit because of the injury to Ziyech, and I think Mount hasn't been able to plug in really, really well. In the first game that Lukaku was in the fold, Mount was actually looking quite exciting and giving him some opportunities.
Buston's making this personal here between Matt. I don't know what's going on here. Buston's saying we need to start a petition to get Spurs out of the top 6 and replace them with Leicester. Leicester have won the Prem and the FA Cup since Tottenham last won a trophy.
What team does Buston support?
It's hard to guess, I'm sure, because if
I think it's Arsenal.
If he didn't support Arsenal, surely he'd be saying Arsenal are the ones who should be voted out of the top 6. That's not really how top 6 works. Top 6 is based on where you finish. I think he means the big 6. But
Barakel, that was
Maybe it's talking
way
Super
before he arrived. That was before I saw him doing his thing.
Musa.
Can't wait for you to get
But-
that Mike Tyson fake tat.
So
be
just
fair,
a little
Lukaku-
update. Just a little update on that. When Lukaku scores his 20th goal of the season, Musa will be bleaching his beard, and it will have to stay on for the duration of the season up until the moment that he's hit the 20th. So if he hits
Yep.
20 goals, saying by next week he's got to have a bleached beard for the end of the season.
But does
That's
that mean
just
as it
hypothetical.
grows out, he's got to re-bleach it? Or is it just
Yeah.
going to get very, very long with a little bleach tip?
No. It's got to re-bleach. It's got to be pure
So you got to keep going for touch-ups.
all the time.
I'll have to.
All the
I'll
time.
have to keep it clean.
Yeah. Right. Okay, but back to the game, gentlemen. Back to the game. Okay, 3-0.
Do this.
Mosa, you've been fortunate enough to speak about Chelsea because Silo asked you the question. Matt, Spurs. Let's hear this. They were hosting the game.
I mean, on balance, Chelsea were far the better side. I don't think I'm going to argue with that. We had a good first half. The play was a lot more positive than the Palace game. There was some nice link-up play. We were missing the finishing ball. We didn't take our chances. We didn't even have any chances where you thought, oh, that was really close. The keeper just got there, or he's just fluffed his lines right at the end. There was periods of dominance, but no real finish end product. And look, even Buston said it, Spurs bottling it, and I think there was an element of that. I think at half time where Chelsea kind of stepped up, Tuchel showed his quality, made a big strategic call, pulling off Mount, putting on Kante. We didn't have an answer to that, and the second half was all one-way traffic. Kane was also off the pace quite a bit. I mean, I know a few players in the Spurs game didn't have a great performance.
Hey, man. So
But Kane in
is it
particular he really seemed fit.
is Ndombele tired or something? Like people were saying,
So
he looked tired,
Ndombele,
guys.
so
He played
They
well.
looked exciting
first
for
half.
me.
he had a good first half.
First off, yeah. Then he ran out of steam, right?
But he's always been that kind of player who seems to, if his head's not right in it, he does tend to look lazy on the field. I mean, I think that's a harsh call to call a professional footballer lazy because he's clearly a lot fitter than any of us. But at the same time, he didn't look quite up for it in the second half. The way he did in the first half, there were some clever runs. He was pulling defenders out of position. He was doing some smart little turns. And then in the second half, he looked off the pace and he looked lackluster. He wasn't running back he wasn't tracking his man quite as much. And I was surprised he stayed on, for as long as he didn't. I think there are question marks over Spurs' best 11 at the moment. You look at what we've put out during the course of the season. I don't think Nuno's yet decided a system that he's completely happy with. I think the fact that Kane isn't firing has tripped us up. I think Bergwijn's injury has also played a role because he was proving quite pivotal to how we played. Bergwijn was almost like Nuno's new Adama Traore, just run at the defense, pull people out of position, use his pace, and then unleash the Son and Kane. So I think there's still a lot of work for Spurs to do. Realistically, I don't think Spurs are going to be challenging for anything this season. I think even jokes aside, I don't know if Spurs will finish top 6 this season. I think we'll still be part of the big 6 because the unfair commercialization of football is what it is. But I think that this game showed that there's still quite a chasm between the quality we've got as a squad and the quality teams like Chelsea have, because we had a good first half, and against a lesser side, we probably would have turned that into a win over the course of 90 minutes. But Chelsea were able to completely flip the script and come in, and Tuchel made that big call. Kante, every time he's on the field, you see the impact he has. He's just such a solid player. We've talked about him before on this show quite a lot. And I think he really showed it again. He just completely, the midfield, where in the first half, Spurs were winning that midfield battle. Højbjerg was all over the place, getting really in Chelsea's faces, controlling play, controlling the pace of play. The second half, he barely got a look in because of the way Kante just cuts it out before that. And it wasn't like he's a one-on-one. Yeah. He doesn't go toe-to-toe with Højbjerg. He gets there before him. He gets the ball first. He gets in the right position first, completely cuts out the threat. And that made a huge difference. And it was a frustrating afternoon in that sense, because going into the game as a Spurs fan, you're thinking we don't have a chance in this. It's not going to, and then they have that first half and you start to think, well, hold on, maybe we might sneak one, do one of our dirty 1-0s that we don't quite deserve. And in the second half, it was just steamrolled. It was, the second half was what we'd expected the whole game to be, really, which is, it is what it is.
It was super exciting from my side to see the intensity and the focus of all our players on the day. It's like the Chelsea squad is really, really good. And we do have a lot of expectations of those individual players. But it was coming together very, very well, where all the players that we had on the field were looking like 7s or 8s on the day. And that's always a really good thing, when you can go away and come out with a strong, solid performance where nobody necessarily outshines or outperforms, but everybody performs at the highest level, which is very, very exciting for me as a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, and I mean, from just out of curiosity there, I mean, Porical's saying Spurs did look gassed, which is to the point that you're saying some players are coming up to speed. I think from a managerial perspective, looking at Nuno, and I want to get everyone's opinion here, I don't know how much of a hindrance it was having Kane stay and also going now, well, he's going to have to find a way to make this work, even though having managers like Pochettino and Mourinho eventually were running tired of trying to make this work because it wasn't working. And now he has to try and make something work. Whereas almost with Kane leaving, it almost gives him a bit of a free pass going, he doesn't have his star player. He is building a squad and he's looking to do something new with different players. So out of curiosity, new identity. So how much, I mean, we know realistically that Kane's going to want to leave end of the season. So does this not put him at a disservice?
It does.
So, to an extent, I've read a couple of things about it, and Spurs fans are very divided. There's Spurs fans who are like, he clearly doesn't want to be here. They should bench him and just wait it out, whatever. And then there's others who are saying, look, even a bad Kane is going to score 12, 15 goals a season. It's worthwhile keeping him around for that. Kane has also done this in the past where he has like a bad month where he sort of looks off the pace or he's playing off an injury or, he's brought back too soon. And then he finds his feet and starts banging them in. And I'm tempted to kind of, look, we're not going to challenge for the title this season. Best we could hope for is if we have an amazing run of form from now until sort of February, we could maybe knock on the door of the top 4. And I think in that sense, we should give it a few more games, see if Kane clicks. Because you still see the chemistry between him and Son. They know where there's like an unconscious bond between them. That he knows where Son's going to be. There was a few moments in the first half where he'd unleash a pass out of nowhere and it would just find Son in space. And I think holding on, trying to rekindle that is worthwhile holding on to. Realistically, also, we don't have anyone who can step in and do the whole job that Kane does. Son on his own does need a second support, and no one yet has quite shown they're able to do that. So I think I think we've got to give it a bit more time to see whether Kane, because Kane is also, he's the kind of player who wants to win Golden Boot every season. So I think if he finds, he'll get his head on, he might go through a bit of a slump now, which he's done in the past, and then hopefully he'll come back and start scoring goals. And then we will sell him, I imagine, at the end of this season. Unless the talk of him getting a new deal is true and they forget to put in the release clause because,
that's how Levy operates. Yeah.
So, but then as a Spurs fan, do you then, I mean, how harshly do you critique the manager? Because I hear like Glenn Hoddle coming out going, oh, there was clearly no system there.
Why was Harry Kane playing on the left wing?
It's like, well, dude, come on. It's like, and now the player comes out saying he was frustrated by the result. And you're like, bro, actually, we don't give a shit about what you're saying. Your team's struggling. It's not the Kane train all the time.
Well, I think for me, the criticism of Nuno is valid in the Palace game because we were set up wrong there. We were fair enough. He was also held back. We had a lot of injuries and whatever, but we played too defensively in the Palace game. We had 3 like what you call holding midfielders. So I think in that game it was fair to criticize Nuno. I think in this game it's the other way around. I think Nuno clearly showed the first half the system was working, and if there'd been 1 or 2 smarter touches and a good finish, we could have gone in 1 or 2-0 up, and then it's a different game. The fact that we didn't take those chances, and the fact that Chelsea made a really good halftime move changed the game. But I wouldn't criticize Nuno too harshly. He maybe left it too long to change things up in the second half. But I think, like all of us, the 2 goals came so quickly, so close together. It was sort of shell shock kind of a thing. But that's kind of a bit of a harsh call. But yeah, I think in this game, Nuno's not as at fault as he was maybe in the Palace game. And he showed that he does have a plan. And whenever, even in the preseason, whenever he set Spurs up to play attacking football, it looked really good. It really did. It came off. I mean, obviously preseason, you can't read too much into it, but it's always looked nice. And again, against Chelsea, where we were playing attacking football, it looked really nice, really slick, clean out the back. And I think that makes a huge difference. Bear in mind also losing Dyer has that affected us quite a lot in in the previous game, and having that kind of, our defense is still kind of bedding down. Romero only made his first start against Chelsea, so I think we're still in a bit of a transition phase with our defense finding themselves, and that takes a while. That back five needs to bond and develop understanding and stuff. And I think Nuno's doing a good job there. But it's a long season. Spurs are going to have a long season. We're not going into this massively hopeful of silverware. It's really just a case of, we want to see some exciting football. We want to have something to cheer about, something to smile about. We'll just see how it goes.
Yeah, fair enough. And then Mossa, from a Chelsea perspective, Tuchel doing the things. Also, ironically, that Liverpool and Chelsea have the exact same opening 5 results, which is pretty interesting, from goals scored, goals conceded, both sitting on the same amount of points. But from a Tuchel perspective, surely you were blowing the trumpet before the season even started, saying, they're going to win the league. I mean, how are you feeling now?
Feeling as is before, like even the performances we saw over the weekend, everybody is pulling their weight at this point in time in the Chelsea squad, and that's all exciting.
Even Kepa.
Even Kepa, he's got hands finally, and seeing Timo Werner coming out into the squad as well to support and assist.
Imagine how shocking a moment that must have been for him, waking up one day. Like, what the fuck?
I've got hands.
Walking into the training, thumbs up, everyone. Look what I've got.
Yeah, so from my side, it looks very, very good as a squad. We have a lot of options still that are there that can still assist when you go to Champions League football. The likes of Reece James, Chilwell, and a couple of other players like Timo Werner, like Ziyech, who still have something to contribute to the squad at certain points of the season. So yeah, it seems like everything is going according to plan. Tottenham wasn't an easy team to play against, but the guys did bring out a very professional performance and showed why we do deserve to be respected as currently European champions, and hopefully next season Premier League champions, because I think we have the squad and the manager to assist us in doing that.
Well, he's shown it twice. The Liverpool game and now the Spurs game. Tuchel has shown his ability to change the thing, and also his kind of ability to stay calm in the face of potential chaos. There was he in both instances, different kind of realities and contexts, but both times he was a calming force. They clearly are well drilled as a team. He knew what to do. He made the changes that were necessary, and they very quietly went about their business. I think he's really showing his quality as a manager, and also unleashing the best in certain players who maybe were a bit on the fringes. You look at the Kimmich is starting to have a really good run of form, and that's I think even players like obviously Lukaku was going to hit the ground running. But you look at the likes of Mount as well. He was already a very good player, but there seems to be an added level of maturity in the way he approaches the game. His movement off the ball, even in the first half when Spurs were dominating, there was a few moments where he was in exactly the right place to unleash a counter, and it didn't. You guys didn't end up scoring off it. There was 2 that I remember where he found himself in space, and I'm sure a lot of that is down to the way he's being trained and the way they're running drills on the training ground. Because he just knows, and there's an understanding where he should be at the right time. And I think Tuchel could end up being one of those great managers in the Premier League. So
yeah, definitely.
It doesn't bug me at all. I'm not bitter or anything. I don't care.
But I think also Sam raises some very valid points there in the comment section there, especially just in terms of I think if Spurs play the way they did in that first half, Arsenal can be seeing some problems, and we can see some bleached hair next week, and the fact that I think he's saying obviously that Chelsea's got 10 different scorers already in 5 games, which is something to beholden. As opposed to where Liverpool, it's Salah, Mane, and some of half goals of.
Sorry, Silo, I was going to say this. Louis saying, please help Silo Matt with some backgrounds. Even Wonga has one. And I've been saying this.
Guys,
no pressure.
I need a new device to work off, because the one I have doesn't allow the green screen. I've got a green screen. Claudia has seen it. It's just it doesn't want to work, guys, unfortunately. But let me see what I can do. Maybe I can get some expenditure money from Goalloungetv If
You're already complaining about the headsets. Good luck with that one, bro. And you are a finance guy. You're meant to be checking the budget. Anyway, I just want to say, gents, from the Tuchel perspective. Oh, wait, Matt, yeah, you've got no reason. What you always, at least, Selo's trying to fight the case here. What case are you fighting?
I'm an old man. I can't be running around doing technology things.
You're keeping it old school.
Anyway, gents, just from the Tuchel perspective.
He's only going to get one when Tottenham gets some silverware. Which maybe never.
Then
This is the Tottenham trophy
don't
cabinet,
expect
can't you see?
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Yeah, just from the Tuchel thing, I think what's very impressive about him is he's come in there. The squad have a clear identity. He keeps the players guessing. You never know which player is going to play, so they're always fighting for places. And I think biggest thing out of all of them, he's not afraid to make decisions on the spot. He can see something's working, what's not working, and he'll make the change. He doesn't care who you are. And I think for me personally, after his little stint in PSG, I kind of critiqued him in I would say probably the wrong type of lens, going, well, they didn't do too well in the Champions League, and considering it is PSG and the sort of competition they face on a weekly basis.
He got to the final. He got to the final, Claudio. Come on.
Yeah, but he didn't win it, and that's it's one of the things where I know you're pulling a face there, but Pochettino didn't win it either. So, and he got to the final, and look what happened in Spurs. So I'm just saying, because you're pulling the face there from a Spurs perspective, but
It's just my face, Claudio. Why are you going to insult my face? There's so many people watching. Are we descending to that level of personality?
It's called EQ, Matthew. That's what it's called, yeah. But yeah, just on that point, I think he's done really well hitting the ground running, and I think that's just to round off. I think it's going to be interesting. Chelsea, Man City on the weekend, and obviously Arsenal, Spurs, also another big one. But gentlemen, we've come to that point where it is time for the final thoughts. So let's have them. And sorry, it's all in caps, so it's final thoughts as we are. Yeah.
My final thought is, I think I just want to emphasize that point. I mean, I think the Premier League, they need to fix what's happening with
VAR.
whatever the rules and VAR, because I don't, did you guys actually watch the Brentford and was it Brentford and versus
Brentford and
Watford.
Was it
I
Watford?
know who you
Watford.
talking about. I know who you talking about.
So-
No, wait, it was Brentford against someone else.
Brentford. Let me just check it up quickly. Sorry, it's very important.
No, I know who you talking about. I know who you talking about. What's that against the Knicks?
Wolves.
Wolves.
Wolves,
Brentford,
yeah.
Wolves.
Wolves, yeah, so
Wolves.
Wolves. So what happened was, I don't know if you guys saw the game, but Tony, Brentford striker, is on the wing.
He touched the ball in
gets
his hand
past.
when they scored the goal. Yeah.
Yes, touched the ball with his hand. They scored the goal. So he basically ran. The ball touched his hand. He went back on the floor, ran into his path, and he crossed the ball in and scored. So
It was
apparently they said,
accidental. It was accidental.
no. So they said if the rule is if there's an accidental handball before if there's an accidental handball that leads up to a goal, the goal will be disallowed. That's what they said. But now because Tony doesn't
Passes
score the
the
goal and crosses the
Passes up.
ball in, then the goal stands. You see, I think all of us sitting here, common sense will tell you, look, I mean, that's still a contribution, that can't be allowed. But then again, you see, the Premier League, because they've written that in the rule book, because they've written a dumb rule, now they go about it. You know what I mean?
VAR had a howler this weekend. As I said, Leicester were robbed a clear and fair goal. It just had a may. I think, maybe they need to invite us to be the VAR guys in the box. I'll VAR matches where Musa's playing, and and he can VAR my matches, and I'll be very fair.
Yeah, and I don't understand why these virtual assistants don't actually call the ref to view things or even have a chat with the ref that the rest of the public can hear. I've been watching a lot of rugby over the past couple of and the rugby officials actually have to have a chat, and everybody can hear what these discussions are about. In football, it seems like it's done under some veil that nobody understands, to be honest.
So actually, interesting enough, guys, there's a foreign referee who's gonna ref for the first time in the Premier League, an Australian guy. He's gonna ref a Premier League match. Will be first foreigner ever, and there's a video of him on YouTube where he was reffing in the Australian Football League, and where they actually have a microphone, and then he can actually speaks to the guy, and so they can actually hear what they say. So in Australia they actually do that. So so we've got a ref who's actually they do that where he actually comes from, but Premier League needs to learn a lot.
Step it up, yeah, they really do.
They've already improved a lot since last season, so let's take that as a
No.
positive step. I think so.
No.
I think like it has. Okay.
After all this
final
week.
thoughts.
Yeah, after this week.
Yeah, that's the final thoughts. Yeah, guys. See you
Final
guys.
thoughts.
Cheers.
Matt, what's your final thought before we go?
I was hoping we'd broken the habit of talking about VAR every show. We did pretty good, but this weekend has brought it back, so that's somewhat disappointing. It's but final thoughts. I think it's already an exciting season. It's already very hard to say who's gonna come out on top. I think already if we sat down now and plotted what's going to be the top 8, we'd get 5 different answers, completely different. The only agreement would probably be that Arsenal won't be in it. So
definitely.
Bring it on. I'm looking forward to the weekend, and I can't wait to see Wonga with a blonde cap. Let's do it.
We shall see.
Do it. Right, gentlemen. And on that note, if you don't know what to be
Be cool.